Because you are on the house, kids could immediately disturb you. That's one of the disadvantages that I don't like.
Advantages, one would be, of course, I have more time to spend with my family. We have a provincial rate from where I'm from. They still consider this a province, so therefore we have a lower rate than most cities in the Philippines. Therefore, my pay rate as a virtual assistant is much higher than the rate if I work in the office. Less commute, of course. Working as a virtual assistant, you get to expand your knowledge. You get to learn more about different types of businesses, especially if you get exposed to different clients that work under different businesses. So you learn a lot about the type of work that they do. Disadvantages, I think one would be the graveyard shift for most virtual assistants. Obviously, not all, but most virtual assistants have clients overseas in the US mostly. So therefore, we have to work graveyard shifts. Other disadvantages, I think, would be the reliance on stable internet connection and stable power. We do get power outages here in my city specifically, and also sometimes the internet would be down, then you'd have to find a way to go online immediately.
Well, the advantages of working from home is, for me as a mom, I can look after my child because it's really hard to hire a nanny. Nowadays, you can't really trust the life of someone to somebody else because of there are a lot of trust issues now because of a lot of crime. So it's better that you can actually work hands on with the family, with your son or with your kid. And that's the first advantage. And the second advantage is I could save a lot. I don't have to spend for a transportation to commute. Another advantage is the time management. I have a lot of time with my family. I have a lot of time at home. I can manage my time at work and at the same time manage my household chores. So that were the advantages. The disadvantage is sometimes there can be some problem with focusing because the baby is around, so sometimes you have also to look after him or her, but that can be managed with someone with you at home. For example, my husband is also working at home, so we talk about it that if I'm working, he should look after, or they can be on the other room and I can work. That's the only problem because unlike in the office space, you can work at your own pace.
Well, I think one of the good things is that, it's convenient. That's one. But, it sometimes gets a little lonely because you're just alone at home. So, it's sometimes companionship in the team. You just feel it a lot better when like people are there. But actually, it actually also works for us because there are like social media platforms like Facebook, Instagram, or whatnot, and also platforms like Slack that you can, get used to communicate with the people, call them, from the comforts of your home. So yeah, those are pretty much the good things and the bad things.
Sometimes it could be, when you're with your family for the whole 1 to 2 years together in the same roof, seeing each faces every day, it could be stressing too at times. Because sometimes when you leave the home, you leave the problems with them. But now you cannot do that. The problems of home, you have to face it too, because you are working from home. So it can be sometimes stressing too in some point. But I think working from home is still more of a pros than cons.
The advantage of working from home is that you're not stressed out of setting alarms in order for you to be able to commute to work or go to work or travel to work. There are times that you don't actually like your coworker in a corporate world, and so you had to fake your smile. So those are the things that you don't have to do in a work from home setting. Those are the advantage. And also sometimes in a corporate world, whenever you actually felt like sleeping, there are like naps, like short breaks and all sorts. You get to do that in a work from home setting. as long as you know when to do this, because there are actually advantage to short naps as well. Like you get to recharge yourself from working as well. So those are the advantage. For the disadvantage of working from home, well, there's no one who will be able to help you. Like we have been used to a education system where there is someone who will be teaching you behind your back on where to click or what to click and all things, all sorts of this. And so those are one of the disadvantage of working from home or working as a virtual assistant as well. But it will be up to you if you have the willingness to learn, and because all the information is right at your fingertips, you just have to search and navigate all those information. And also one of the disadvantage is that procrastination will be one of the main disadvantage of working from home. Well, if you are not actually used to working in a work from home setting, then most likely there will be a lot of procrastination at your side. Like what I've said, there's no one who's actually watching your back. Your boss is not actually looking into your work. So you get to procrastinate all the tasks that is actually given to you. One disadvantage is also if you're not actually unable to manage your mental health, then there are times that you will get to overthink the situation and tend to lose your interest.
Because I used to work with an office, you have to wake up an hour early or 2 hours early, I say. 2 hours early, 1 hour for the preparation. You have to cook for your kids, eat your breakfast, and then take a bath and do some girl stuff. And then you have to go to the traffic and then enter the office. But when you are working at home, even if my schedule or my shift is at 7 a.m., I can wake up at 6:50. So I can just turn on the laptop and immediately log in and start working. So that's a very, very good way or a very nice advantages from working at home.
I enjoy working from home. What I enjoy the most is the freedom. I don't know if you've heard about how horrific traffic is here in Manila. I've worked in the corporate world for more than 20 years, and my gosh, the traffic really would stress out workers or employees from traveling from residence or from home to workplace, then back to home. So that is one thing that I enjoy the most, the freedom from the stress that traffic brings. And I am a very independent person, actually. So I enjoy the freedom I get when there's no structure. Having worked in the corporate world has so many rules, guidelines, restrictions. Especially when I worked in a call center, of course I have to follow because I am an employee then. But in a corporate center, in the BPO industry, there are so many rules and regulations, especially when you have to go to the restroom for your bladder break during your break time. Everything is measured, your break time, your competency on the calls, how long you are on the call. I find that very restrictive, and sometimes I feel stressed out because of the pressure that I feel when I know and I'm aware that I have to meet always a certain criteria or standard that my team lead or the organization had set on me as an employee. So as a virtual freelancer, I don't have that restrictions because I work independently. I'm on my own. To be on my own, I should be very resourceful. As much as possible, I don't want to bother my client with whatever questions or concerns or issues that would come up during work. I think the downside there is I don't have anyone to talk to. When, for example, if I need help, when I can't find the available materials or resources on the internet, I can't ask for anyone else except my client, who knows better, of course, with what should be done. The downside also of working as a VA is a social life. I don't have any social life, so I create a social life of my own. So I make it a point that every weekend or every rest days, I meet up with friends of mine outside of work. I could have a work-life balance, right? And also, what I like about a VA is that if there's no layer, like different from what a corporate world has. There are so many layers of executives or leads or supervisors or superiors that you have to ask permission to perhaps take a leave of absence, emergency, or a vacation leave. Not like with the VA, with my client, I just file it in advance, a couple of days in advance. So I enjoy that kind of structure or work relation with my client. The difference again, one difference again is with the corporate world, there are many benefits. You get to have vacation leaves, sick leaves, credits, I mean, also health card and a bonus. We have what we call here in the Philippines a 13th month pay given to employees for corporate world. But with VAs, it really all depends on the client. There are those who give health cards or health insurance. I haven't heard of someone who have been given 13th month pay, not yet. And with regards to leave credits, seldom do clients provide that to the VAs.
Okay, the advantage of working from home is that first you can spend time with your family, and you're lucky if you can work open hours, like you can work anytime you want if the client lets you do that. As for me, my client lets me do my job whenever my family is already sleeping. So there would be no distraction. The only disadvantage that you'll get working from home would be the distraction from your family members or the noise, probably. But I think there's more advantage than disadvantage, especially now that we have COVID, because working from home would really save you a lot of time from commuting, going to work, and would really lessen your exposure to COVID.
Working from home is very convenient. You have the best of your lives. You can sleep well. I mean, you can sleep more without actually rushing. I would say I will feel very safe if I work from home. But one thing that is the downside of working from home is when the internet connection is not good, or when the internet connection shut off, or since it's Philippines and we don't have really a reliable internet connection and we don't have reliable electricity. So sometimes we have power interruption every now and then, and we have internet disconnection every now and then. So that's actually the downside of working from home. You need to have backup plans, backup internet, backup power like generator. So you need to have that one. So you need to invest a lot if you would like to really work from home, not just for the laptop. You also need to invest on a headset. You need to invest on work table from home that you will not be disturbed by your family members. You will also need to invest on backup, power backup, or internet connection. And in the Philippines, we have three major internet service providers. So you really need to have three. Sometimes the two will shut off, at least you still have one. So yeah, more like investment.
I appreciated the work from home setup because I have the flexibility. I am controlling my own time. Aside from that, I can work and at the same time learn without any hindrances, without any hesitations because someone is looking at me, someone is micromanaging me. I can even eat while I'm working, and that is something that I'm really fond of eating. Also, I feel that working alone makes me more productive than working with groups. And also, we wanted to have a safer environment for us not to be contracted with the COVID-19. However, there is cons in it. Like, for example, you are working from home, but you cannot track the time already. You don't know the morning, the night, and also sometimes your date. You often forget that it's already weekend and weekdays because it feels like it's the same. And sometimes the cons of it is that they often get sick since we have different time zones with our clients, and sometimes they don't have the time or the leisure to work out and to really take care of themselves, to rest especially. So they often overwork. But I think that is something that you should be more wary of because you cannot be a productive worker if ourselves aren't taken care of.
First, advantages. I don't need to commute. Commute takes time. In my previous job, I would commute like a minimum of 1 hour. And I could do a lot of things in an hour, And I don't need to take a bath every day. I mean, personal preparation is not as challenging if I need to go outside and work in an office. And when you're done working, you could immediately chill or rest. You're just in the house, and you could wear anything down as long as the upper part is presentable. I like it because it's in the house. It's comfortable. When you go to the restroom, you could immediately go, and you could see the kids. If you have kids, that's one of the advantages I really like. And you could save a lot. You don't need to pay for fare, right? So time-wise, money-wise, yes, those are the advantages. Now on the disadvantages. Okay, because you are on the house, kids could immediately disturb you. And that's one of the disadvantages that I don't like, because even if you're working, they don't see you as working because you are in the house. I tend to a little get lazy sometimes because I'm just in the house. I won't get late. I'll just get up later. And that's a problem sometimes, especially if it is like bad weather, it's kind of difficult. Sometimes internet connection also affects. There's like outages and sometimes problems with the internet connection. That could be a disadvantage if you're working online as a virtual assistant.